The possibility of changing Bitcoin's hard cap stems from two underlying misconceptions regarding Bitcoin as a distributed, consensus-based network. To begin with, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different versions of the Bitcoin source code. Every node in the Bitcoin network runs its own software that rejects any blocks that are incorrect. While many nodes are running the most recent version of Bitcoin Core, some are still using older versions and implementations. As a result, while changing Bitcoin Core's source code is simple, convincing tens of thousands of nodes to implement these modifications is significantly more challenging. Who was the founder of Bitcoin Core? Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin Core in late 2008, and it is the initial implementation of Bitcoin. Satoshi Nakamoto was the original maintainer of Bitcoin Core until he vanished in late 2010, and since then, a succession of other maintainers has taken over. The role of maintainer is given on a voluntary basis, and maintainers can be dismissed if they lose the community's trust. Who is responsible for the development of Bitcoin Core? Since Bitcoin's inception in 2009, the code has been entirely functional. However, there are defects to be fixed and upgrades to be incorporated, as with every software project. Many people are working to improve Bitcoin Core. These people are known as core developers, and there are no requirements for them. Being a core developer has no limits. The number of Bitcoin developers has exploded since Satoshi Nakamoto launched the first version of Bitcoin. Bitcoin Core has received contributions from over 750 people as of this writing. Despite the above-mentioned opposing incentives, a supply cap change is potentially achievable. Several entities would have to work together to modify Bitcoin's supply cap. Developers would have to suggest the modification first, then write the code to implement it. There would be a communal debate, which would almost certainly be contentious. Developers would have to agree on these improvements before they could be incorporated into Bitcoin Core. The community would then have to agree on an activation path to ensure that the network as a whole switched to the new rule set. Changing the supply cap would necessitate a hard fork, which would require all nodes on the network to accept the modifications or be kicked off. Core developers are not a centralized group of people. There is no leader or project manager who instructs developers on what to build or how. Instead, core developers are individuals from across the world who each decide for themselves how they want to contribute to Bitcoin. In fact, some developers, including Satoshi Nakamoto, remain completely anonymous, allowing the merit of their ideas to be judged irrespective of their reputation.